Some may call this a new apocalyptic zombie film, but I call it a look at a new, extremely green form of energy. Tesla, eat your fucking heart out, because these guys will. Wyrmwood Apocalypse is brought to us by director Roache-Turner and stars Bianca Bradley, Jay Gallagher, and Luke McKenzie. In a zombie-infested Australian wasteland, soldier Reyes has dedicated his life to tracking and capturing survivors for the Surgeon General in hopes of finding a cure. So Wyrmwood Apocalypse is the sequel to 2014's Wyrmwood Road of the Dead, which at the time of watching this film I had heard of but I'd never seen. So coming into this thing, I was pretty blind. I didn't know who any of the returning characters were, what was going on in the world, or anything like that. But the movie does a fairly good job of setting things up and getting you up to speed. It doesn't give you every single detail of what happened in the first film or anything, but you got a pretty good idea of where the world's at this point. Zombies are here and everything's gone to shit. Now, one thing that is a little bit different about this zombie movie from other ones is that these zombies, for some reason, they emit like this green gas from their mouth. And yeah, I know you learned more about that in the first movie, at least a little bit, but I'm trying to mostly come at this review from the view that I had when I first watched the film, having not seen the first movie. By the way, since I watched this movie, I have watched the first movie. Now, this green gas that the zombies emit from their bodies can somehow fuel and power all the machinery that we have. For whatever reason, gasoline and other fossil fuels that we're used to just don't work anymore. So everybody's riding around in like these Mad Max-esque vehicles with zombies stashed away in the back with these gas masks on, fueling their vehicles. And if that sounds really ridiculous, well, it is. But it's also pretty cool because this movie is metal as fuck. The quickest and best way I can describe this zombie movie when compared to other zombie movies is this. If your average zombie movie plays out, say, something like this.
Oh no! Zombies!
Then Wyrmwood Apocalypse is more like this. Yeah, which one looks more fun? The metal as fuck one, that's which one! To say this movie's ridiculous is pretty ridiculous, because this movie's fucking ridiculous. We have characters riding around in cars with zombies hooked up to the back of them in drawers, fueling their vehicles, and when they run out of this gas, they just ditch them and call in more with hunks of meat so that they can fuel their rides and keep going. Weapons that just kinda don't make much sense, but at the same time kinda do. Over-the-top performances at pretty much every turn, and they blow up just everything. Oh yeah, and it's just violent as fuck, but it's fucking metal violent. Anyway, we follow a group of characters, one of which is already kind of like this hybrid half-zombie thing, and she can control other zombies. Why? I don't know. Because it's fucking cool? Now, this is also something, after watching the first film, you actually do learn a bit more about, but really not that much. You see, you gotta understand, this movie, and even the first one for that matter, don't really care about the details. They're not gonna weigh you down with a bunch of explanation to things. They give you enough, but this movie isn't about that. It's not trying to make every single aspect of this film be realistic. They're just trying to have fun. They're trying to put on a show for you. And what kind of show would that be? A fucking metal show! If you hadn't guessed yet, this movie's pretty fucking metal. I mean, it does not give a shit about anyone, anything. It doesn't care. It is here to have fun and put on a good fucking show, and that is what they do. It is goofy as fuck at times, but it works. It makes sense. They know how to strike that just right balance of badassery and goofy-ass fun and loads of fucking over-the-top, gruesome, gory-ass violence. The movie doesn't take itself seriously like in the fucking slightest, and it's all the better for it. This movie's just a good time, man. I mean, sure, you could sit here and tear it apart for this little thing and that little thing, but that's not what this movie's about. It's not trying to be high art. It's just trying to fucking entertain you, and that's what it does. Look at the fucking poster. I mean, did you go into that expecting Schindler's List? I hope not, because that ain't what you're getting. You're getting fucking Schindler's shit list. I mean, the narrative here just mainly involves a group of people that are kind of sort of trying to find a cure, but at the same time, they're really just trying to survive. One of their own gets taken hostage by the pseudo-military group that is also kind of trying to find a cure, but they're a bit more malicious about it. They're like torturing people and zombies and doing like all kinds of fucked up experiments and shit and trying to figure this thing out. I mean, it's pretty fucked up. They deserve everything they get. They've got the main group's person and they're just trying to get them back. We got some other details, but that's really all you need to know. The main antagonist of the bad guys is who they call the Surgeon General. He's this guy guy who's like in this hazmat suit. He's the one doing all the experiments. And he's played by Nicholas Bouchier, and I gotta say, this guy was fucking great. He was one of the best parts of the movie. There's a lot of over-the-top shit in this movie, but by far, his is the most over-the-top performance, and it's pretty fucking great. It's hilarious. He's like a maniacal cartoon character, and I kind of loved it. Everybody else does a pretty good job too. They're doing what you expect for this movie. I mean, don't come into this thing expecting any Oscar-winning performances, but they're all solid. I mean, they work for the film that they're in. Luke McKenzie is who I guess I would consider for the most part to be our main character for most of the film, and he's pretty good. I enjoyed following this character. Bianca Bradley and Jay Gallagher from the first film show up in a more predominant role about halfway through the film. They don't totally take over as the mains, but they are part of the main cast at that point, and they were good as well. Now, going into this the way that I did, not having seen the first film, I was able to pick up on what they were and who they were, but they didn't really mean much to me. That being said, by the end of the film, I did enjoy these characters, and I understood how important they were to this world. These are some very likable, fun performances from everybody involved, and that's what this movie needed. It needed performers that were on board, that were game for this kind of over-the-top ridiculous movie, and that's what it looks like everybody here was. They're playing it straight, but they're not afraid to go over the top. Now, the effects and everything in this movie are pretty damn good, especially considering that it is a relatively small budget film. And it looks pretty damn good. Everything we got here is really solid. We get a decent amount of CGI, and it all looks solid. Most of it is smaller things, but we get a real healthy dose of practical work and set design that's pretty awesome. They did a really good job of spreading everything out and making it seem as if this world was much bigger than they really had to work with. After the fact, if you go back and start thinking about it, you notice that, you know what, it didn't really show that much. There's not really that many places that we got to visit, but the ones that were there, they did a really good job with. Even the more basic places, like out in the woods, they did a really good job of making it seem like this world was alive and breathing, or dead and walking. Now, when it comes to the original Wyrmwood and this one, I'd say that they are very much alike. You get many of the cast members from the first film in this one, and pretty much all the people behind the camera are back as well. So there is a consistency between the two. So if you enjoyed the original Wyrmwood, I think you'll like this one too. And this one is even more over the top than that one was. Overall, I was genuinely impressed with the general quality of this film. You can tell that they put a lot of hard work into this thing, and it absolutely pays off. That, and it's fucking metal as fuck! Guys, Wyrmwood Apocalypse was just a fun fucking movie, man. That's it. It's goofy, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, it's even corny at times, but it really works. That is exactly what this movie needed, and it is also just fun as hell. Do not go into this thing expecting some type of like deep introspective thought on the human condition or anything. That is not what this is. If you go into this thing expecting just a badass metal as hell entertaining movie, then I think you're gonna have a good time with it. And while it's not high art, it is absolutely fun and entertaining. And that's why Wyrmwood Apocalypse is absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it!
If you like ridiculous as hell, over the top, gory as fuck, fun movies, then check out Wyrmwood Apocalypse one night, and I think you're gonna have a really fun time with it. So there it is, guys, my review of Wyrmwood Apocalypse. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below. Become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Dragon Khan and Marge G. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Wyrmwood. I don't think that's a place. Now I look at this movie and I think to myself, how could someone not have fun with this? It's so ridiculous and over the top. It doesn't take itself seriously. How could you not just like revel in its glee? There will absolutely be people that say this movie's just trash and it's bad and it's fucking stupid. You know what? You're right. This movie is trash, but it is gleefully awesome, metal as fuck fun trash. And I'm truly saddened by the fact that you are unable in your heart of hearts to enjoy such tasty trash, but I think I may have a remedy remedy. I'm here to help you. It's a pretty complicated task, but if you pay attention, we can make it through this thing together. Step one, take your hand, your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna use that. But if you're left-handed, just do all of this with the left hand. But we're gonna go with our right hand here. Hold it up, flex, make sure it's ready. You know, it's about to go through its paces. Stretch it out as far as you can. Turn it backwards. Come around as much as you can to your back. Just stretch back as much as you can. Don't make it painful, just a little bit past that comfort zone right here. Then the elbow, let me turn this way so you can see. The elbow here, bend the elbow downward. You're gonna go southern direction. Downward, you will feel your backside right here, glutes, all that, yeah, all that right there. You're gonna come here. Now open the hand and just kind of move it side to side, and you should feel like something protruding, probably going to be hard, and depending on how long it has been there, thick. Just grasp that. Grab it and just flex like we did when we were up here flexing like that. Do that. Grab it very tightly, extremely tightly. Do not hesitate. You could hurt yourself. And just one smooth, hard jerk. Pull it out, but just out all the way, out all the way. And then when you see the stick that was in your fucking ass, just toss it far away, far. If you have a fire pit, toss it in there, burn it up. We don't want to run the risk of this thing getting relodged in your fucking ass so you won't have fun anymore. After that, go back, watch this film, revel in its awesomeness and good time. And also, if you go into the world and see the world anew and are able to have such a good time with things now that may be stupid and ridiculous but are fun, you can come back here and thank me later.